Welcome to the Jet Set Hers podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Jamie. We discuss travel, adventure, and everyday life. Listen with us and let's go somewhere. Hey, Jenny, is that you?
Jamie, what is this?
Jenny, we have a little mini episode this week.
A surprise mini episode, our first one.
There will be more of these mini episodes coming up. We will be talking about different traveling tips that we might have, or possibly smaller, most recent hikes or small trips that we have went on.
Absolutely. So today we are talking about a little trip I went on a couple weeks ago to a hot spring here in Colorado.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear Jenny tell me about it. So we actually thought it would be a good idea if we just record it today. We could share it with you guys, as well as I'm hearing everything for the first time too. So it'll be fun for all of us.
Yeah. And hot springs have been something on the top of my Colorado bucket list for a while. And it's kind of something I figured I'd wait till it got colder, just because summer here, it does get pretty warm. And I had a coworker at my new friend, Melody. She was talking about how she really wanted to go, and we both had the same day off. And so we made it happen. I was really excited.
Yeah, that's really cool. So Jenny, why don't you tell us all about that? Where is this hot springs located? Like, how far away is it from you? Where it's at? What's its name? All the good juicy details.
Yeah. So we started looking at hot springs. There's so many around Colorado, and a lot of the really big popular ones, they have like a time limit. So you can only be in there for 2 hours, and driving from so far, because all of these are, a good 2 to 3 hours away. We kind of were like, we don't know what time we'll get there. We don't want to be limited to a certain time bracket. So we just kept looking. We were trying to find somewhere that had a hotel availability that night, even though that didn't work out. And it was just one really long day trip. But we came across Cottonwood Hot Springs, which is located in Buena Vista, Colorado. It's about a 3-hour drive, I think, if you take it straight. So it's not too crazy. I mean, driving through the mountains is gorgeous. And we actually got to drive through South Park, Colorado, which I thought was pretty cool.
Ah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys stop and take a picture or anything, or?
No, but I'll be back.
The name of it?
Definitely. Yeah. For sure. So looking it up, I'm definitely a planner. So I definitely started making the road trip ideas. And we decided to take her car because she has all-wheel drive, which I only have 2-wheel drive, which is very sad. But I figured if we're going to make this long drive into the mountains, we might as well head out really early and hit a hike before we go, just to make it all worth it.
I would say that's probably the best way to do it. I probably would have done it the same way, because it's like, you're making the most of your trip, especially if you're driving a couple hours to get there. So that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started looking. I always use All Trails, the app. It's very convenient. It tells you the length, if they're easier, if they're harder. People leave reviews on like the parking situation, stuff like that. Yeah. So I was trying to find something that was going to be an easy hike, because I didn't want to be just absolutely exhausted when we got there. So I found one called Blue Lakes Waterfall, and it was in Breckenridge, Colorado. Love Breck. And it was only about a mile total. You drove all the way to where you're in between like a lower lake and a higher lake. And that's what kind of creates this big waterfall where it gets its name. And apparently it's like a big reservoir. It's where a lot of the drinking water in Breck comes from. So that was kind of cool too.
Got you. That's super cool. Yeah, I recognize the name from just you telling me stories of other places that you've been in Colorado since you lived there.
Yeah. Breck is a very big ski town. So anyone that comes here for skiing, they normally stay in and around Breckenridge. But yeah, it was a very simple hike. Once you got up to the top lake, you kind of had to walk on a bunch of boulders and rocks, which was a little sketchy. We saw tons of animals, like tons of, I guess what are called marmots, which look like kind of like a big beaver almost, in my opinion. We saw a lot of chipmunks, which are adorable. Yeah. And then on our way back down the trail, this little family of mountain goats crossed our path.
So cute.
So cute. And so we kind of stood back because they do have some pretty sharp horns on the top of their head. And yeah, I was like, I don't want to end today getting rammed in the stomach by a mountain goat, because there was a baby with them. And I was like, they're protective. So we waited and then finally made our way down to the parking lot. And they were actually down there in the parking lot with us.
The goats were?
Yeah. And it was amazing. So the mama was with the baby up on this little rock, and she was so mad that we were so close to them. And then there were people with dogs, and she kept stomping her foot, the mom, and
Mm,
as her way of being like, back up. I don't like you
yeah.
here. But it was so cute. And then the baby was just curious. The baby was just like taking it all in, looking at all of us. And then Daddy was just down in the parking lot with us, licking rocks, like chilling, like within 5 feet of everyone. It was so cool to see.
That's super cool. Definitely scary, but it seemed like that everybody was fine. So
Yeah. I mean, and we knew not to like push it too
sure.
much. But it was just so cool. And I have some great pictures and videos we can definitely share on the social.
That's great. So what was the hike called again?
It was the Blue Lakes waterfall.
Blue Lakes Waterfall. So did you
Yep.
guys hike to a waterfall?
So that waterfall was kind of at the start. Like I said, we went from like the
Gotcha.
higher lake to the lower one. It was actually a pretty nice waterfall. Like sometimes when you get to them here, they're not flowing very well or they're smaller, but that one was actually a really pretty decent sized waterfall.
Awesome. That's definitely a solid hike when you get there for sure.
Yeah. And the crazy part is back in, I want to say April, my roommate's sister came to visit us and we took her through Breck and we're looking up easy trails. And I remember we tried to do this one, but the road was so full of snow, we could only get like halfway down it. So when we started pulling up to this one a couple weeks ago, I was like, I've been here before, deja vu, but it's crazy because it was like no snow versus when I had seen it
Right.
in April, completely white. So it's crazy how different things get.
Right.
So yeah. And then we also stopped at the Troll of Breckenridge, which is this really cool little art formation. It looks like a giant troll, and you can stand in front of him, take a picture. And I had done that before in the snow as well, so that was cool seeing him not buried in snow. And
Sure.
yeah, and Melody hadn't seen him yet, so that was really cool. And it's a super, super short hike to get to him. I want to say you can walk to it in like 4 minutes. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so it was a very easy little extra pit stop.
Cute. Yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely see pictures on that Facebook page that we always talk about on our podcast. People taking pictures in front of there, and I remember the one that you sent me last in the wintertime too.
yeah. Yeah, so once we finished our hike, we decided to make our way down to Buena Vista. And we had about an hour and a half drive, hour 45-minute drive from there. So it really wasn't too bad. And it only took maybe an hour and a half to get to Breck. So overall, the drive is really not too terrible. And we split it up.
Yeah, splitting it up like that is pretty solid.
Yeah. Yeah. So we just jammed out. It was a nice drive. It's crazy how the terrain changes in Colorado because you think like, oh, you're in the mountains, but we drove through so many like flat towns, like no mountains. You could see them in the distance. So it's just so crazy to see how different Colorado can be within 20 minutes of each other.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so we finally arrived at Cottonwood Hot Springs in Buena Vista. It's just right at the base of a bunch of big mountains, which were gorgeous seeing them on the way in. And you get there, and there's no cell service, there's no Wi-Fi. They don't even put TVs in the room. It's like a very old-looking hotel, but I kind of liked it. It was like off the beaten path, unplugged from the outside world.
Right.
Yeah, very like mountainous
That
feeling.
sounds so perfect.
It was amazing. So we get there, and I actually had scheduled a massage.
Oh,
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah, so I actually had booked a massage with Oriya, and it's through Living Water Spa. But it's right
Mm,
there on property. So I got there, went straight to the massage. She was amazing, super sweet. It was perfect.
wow.
Yeah, she had, the incense going, all the essential oils, everything. It was only my second massage ever, so I was pretty happy with it.
Right. Were you impressed with her?
I was. So the only bad part was I only did a 30-minute trying to just save money, thinking that would be
Sure.
enough. Well, I can't relax. And she kept telling me that. She's like, you are not relaxing. And I'm like, I don't know how to. So she said next time I need to get an hour and a half massage just so I can actually have time to get relaxed. So
Right.
actually like get the full effect from it. But she actually did the thing where they stand completely on your back, where they have the bars they hold on to.
Wow.
And like she put her full pressure on my back, which I've never had anyone do that, but I needed it. So that was really nice. And
That's
then,
incredible.
yeah, Melody had a massage after me. So I kind of just chilled in their little lobby. They have like a little gift store area while she was getting hers done, and really cute nothing fancy, but it's nice that you can go and stay there. And there's no time limit on the hot springs here, which is nice. They're open from 8 a.m. till midnight. So that's really cool to do it at night, I think, have the stars out and everything.
Yeah, definitely. 8 a.m. to midnight. That's like the whole day of range.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's
can see
perfect.
sunrise,
If
sundown.
if you're coming to like stay in Colorado for the first time or just to stay in Colorado again, I feel like it's an awesome setup because you can go out and hike all day and then your body's going to love you when you get back and soak in these hot springs. So
Right.
it's awesome. But so once you get into the actual hot spring area, there's 5 different pools and they range in temperature from the coldest to the hottest, and it's anywhere from 80 to 110 degrees. So we get in there and we go to the one that looks the cutest because that's what girls do, right?
Of course.
It was the hottest one, and after about 3 minutes in there, I was like, I have to get out. Like I thought I was boiling from the inside out. It was way too hot for, I think, the initial soak. So just keep that in mind.
Maybe start off at the lower one
Yeah.
and work your way up, probably, huh?
But we were just like, oh, this one's super cute all the way in the back. There's no one in here, and that's why. It's because it's the hottest one.
Did you guys get in any other ones after that?
Oh, we went in all of them.
Good.
Yeah.
Great.
So from there,
Better.
we actually went from the hottest and then worked our way down to the coldest just to like try them all out. Like not in there for long, just kind of like, okay, well, let's try this one and now this one.
And when she says coldest, she doesn't mean coldest. Coldest being 80 degrees still. So
Yeah.
It's not cold by any means.
It's warmer than the air, but the later it got, that one was a little too cold. Like,
Right.
yeah, I was like, it just needs to be a little bit warmer. So the one step up from that one was my favorite, I think. Because it wasn't super hot, but it was like kind of like a warm bathtub. I know that sounds gross, soaking in a bathtub, but that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Well, I mean, if you've ever been to any hot springs, then you'd know.
Yeah.
You'd know what we mean.
So also here, because it's right on a river, they have what they call the cold plunge. So you walk to the very back through this men's locker room area, and they have stairs going down into the river where they've like built up a little wall and created a little ice cold pool. So it's river temperature. And the first time I did it, I thought I was going to die because you're literally getting in almost freezing water. But we did it 3 times because once you got out of it, you felt so good.
Right.
It's like it just shocks your system. And so your body is just like refreshed. It's so crazy.
Right. That's super cool, especially because your body's just so warm too.
Yeah. And just going from like the hot ones back into the cold water, it was so crazy. Like I hated it in the moment, but then I'm like, you want to go back and do it again? Because like it just felt so good after. It was worth it.
Right.
And it was like bonding with everyone else there because everyone was like, oh my gosh, it's so cold. And it was like a good bonding experience for like meeting new people and everything.
Sure, socializing with people.
Yeah. And there were people of all ages here. Like I saw kids, I saw really old people soaking, everything in between. There were like couples in there, families in there, long lost friends. Like it was really cool to see the mixture.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Was it outside? Like just like
Yeah.
Like, how was the area?
Yeah, so it's just from the hotel entrance, you go through a little gate and it's fenced in, so you can't really see it from the road or anything, but it's all open air. You can see up a cliffside, all the mountains around.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's all naturally fed hot water, but they're man-made pools. So like they actually came in and made these pools, but it's like
Sure.
natural water, so it's like kind of a mixture.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then we did take one break after, soaking for an hour or so, and we went and checked out the hotel's they had like snacks for sale and everything, and girl, Jamie, best snack of my life. Are you ready?
What was it?
So the brand is Hemp Ice Cream, but it was an hemp ice cream sandwich.
What?
It was mocha mint flavored, and it was like the most delicious thing I've ever had.
That sounds so good. I love ice cream, so.
So good. And I guess this company is from Boulder, Colorado here, so I need to find a way to send you some because you would love it.
Keeping it local, I love it.
Yeah.
Please send me some.
Yeah, and it was vegan and gluten-free, and it was just like so good. We were joking that we were just gonna buy like 5 for the ride home. Like
Did you buy any for the ride home, or
We
you said no?
forgot, yeah.
Damn.
Because we soaked for a couple more hours, and I think by that point it had been such a long day. It was already like 6 o'clock at night. It was like our brains were kind of,
Right. So you
yeah.
guys just went for like a long day trip basically, and then went home after you guys were done.
Yep.
So did you guys break up the drive on the way back, or did you just did like the straight 3 hours?
We did it straight through. We stopped and
Gotcha.
got a pizza for the ride home because we were just like, we
Perfect.
didn't want to stop and like eat because it would take long. But yeah, we just got like a large pizza to go and shared that on the way home, which was perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I recommend anyone looking to go to this place to try to stay the night because I think that would just be a super cute overall experience.
Sure.
Yeah. And then my other advice would be is if you're going to go, and I'm going to do this the next time I go, one of my bucket list places is St. Elmo Ghost Town. So it's just like a really well preserved mining town. And I never knew exactly where it was. I just knew it was on my bucket list. But we passed it very close to Cottonwood Springs, a sign that said it was like not so many miles down that road. So I think if you're going to go, you should incorporate that in because that'd be an awesome day.
I would definitely be down for something like that when I come. So
we'll just add
we
it.
could do yeah, we could do that exact trip. This exact trip when I come.
I'm 100% down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially if the springs don't close. That's perfect. So Jenny, how would you rate it? Like, how would you rate that trip? Like, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, just overall.
I'm going to say a solid 4.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't say absolutely a 5, but I would definitely do it again in a heartbeat. And I recommend it to anyone looking to do something like that. But I am going to be trying more of these hot springs. So be prepared for more mini episodes and we'll figure out which one's the best one ultimately.
Definitely.
Yeah. The only other thing from that weekend is the next day I went down with my friend in Denver and we did St. Mary's Glacier hike. It's about 2 miles, elevation gain of like 800 feet. Recommend that to anyone. It does kick your butt in the beginning because it's straight uphill and it's very rocky, but the views at the top are fantastic.
Wow, that sounds really awesome. St. Mary's Glacier hike.
Yes. So we can add that to your list too if we want.
Did you see any glaciers or was that just the name?
Yeah. So a lot of the ice and snow at the top are almost melted, but you can definitely see where the snow and ice are mainly in the winter. It's been so hot lately. When we went, it was pretty melted, but it was there.
Right.
So
that's so awesome. Well, Jenny, it sounds like this was a freaking awesome trip, girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, I have one other thing to tell you.
Tell me.
We went to a new brewery last week.
What was it?
It's called Mash Lab Brewing. And I found it because we tapped one of their beers at work and it was a peanut butter milk stout. And I'm not a stout person. I don't drink a lot of stouts or porters, but this peanut butter milk stout was so smooth and delicious. I was like, I have to go to this brewery. I have to try everything else they have.
Where was it at in relation to where you live? Was it pretty close?
Yeah, it's in Windsor, Colorado, which is about 10 to 15 minute drive, not even. Okay. And yeah, and it's connected to this place called Pinky's, which is where they take really, really old cars and like fix them up and sell them for, $250,000, $300,000. And so from the brewery, you can see all the cars that they're currently working on, and it's just super cute. I tried their industrial IPA, which was fantastic. I ended up getting a whole pint of it. They had a hazy IPA, which was good. I liked the regular IPA better. And then I had to get the peanut butter milk stout again because that's why I went there. And I tried their porter and it was all fantastic.
Wow, that sounds awesome. I love the name too, Mash Lab.
Yeah, and their logo is all like gears, and it's just so fitting that they're connected to that like auto shop. So it's like super cute.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so highly recommend that to anyone.
We always talk about new breweries and our love of craft beer on here, so you can count on that.
Yep, I'm gonna try to do more brewery reviews too on these mini episodes. So yeah, and if you have any suggestions for these mini episodes, anything you want to hear, it doesn't necessarily even have to be travel. We'll talk about it. These can be like anything we want.
Yeah, I mean, they can even be, you guys. We can just have you guys. We could read letters and emails and different things from you guys that you just want to talk about and be silly too. So
yeah,
don't be afraid to hit us up and say what up, because we are here to chat. Well, we just want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today in our very first mini episode.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, you guys can be on the lookout for these little miniature episode drops in the future.
Yeah, and keep an eye out for our next 2 episodes where we talk about a Bali trip and about Disney World. So excited about that.
That Disney one, I can't wait.
Absolutely. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.